Welcome to From Here to There, a podcast brought to you by Formidable Grooming Products. My name's Paddy and I'm joined by my co-host Sam. And something a little bit different for you today, it's just us in Formidable HQ chatting to you guys a little bit about our story of Formidable. So where we come from, where we're at now, and the things we plan on doing in the future. So we just thought we'd take this opportunity to chat to you a little bit about it all.
No, cool.
Thoughts, Sam?
Absolutely. I think it's been great. We've had some great guests so far in the podcast, talking with everybody, ranging from different levels in the industry, which is cool, different stages, and giving a lot of advice. But I think it's great that it can just be us for a bit of a chit chat and maybe just give the viewers a bit of a insight into what we're doing, and also too a bit of a backstory. We probably haven't done enough storytelling in what we do, and we plan on doing that a little bit more this year. So I think giving them a little bit of an insight's good.
Totally. Like From Here to There was like our idea of contributing to the industry, like a way of saying, hey, we're not just going to talk about ourselves. We want to go out there and we want to share stories and add value to people. And I think we've started that journey. We've got a lot more to go on there, but it's cool to just pause for a moment and then take this opportunity to talk to you about us so that, you get a bit of context about who we are. So do we want to start from the beginning, Sam? Formidable, when was it a idea in your head through to actually starting the business?
Yeah, so 2016 started Monaghan's Barbershop, which was a lot of fun, a lot of lessons, and we obviously product wise went into stocking a big label, as a lot of people do with the trust and the
like established brand.
That they were. So we went down that route. Obviously, from there, throughout the I think it was 2 or 3 years, the initial years of selling that product, felt maybe a little bit on the outer in regards sort of support and being in contact with these individuals, maybe the odd rep here and there, but I didn't feel a lot of family. I didn't feel a lot of love at all regarding that. So just went down that route. Sold product, had a great time. Obviously, was a little bit of a learning experience as well, understanding that product is actually a big part of barbering and in the hair salon industry. I think retail gets a bit of a cold shoulder from a lot of business owners regarding the importance and the avenues in business in this type of industry. So went down that route, obviously discussing with you back 2018. I think we started the discussion of geez,
it was pre-COVID. It was and I think you came to me with all those things you just said, that, hey, I stopped this product. It's okay. I don't get a lot of support. I think there's an opportunity if we had a really good product and cool support and kind of build something around it, that we'd actually have something special here. There's not anything quite like that.
That's it. And especially too, even a little bit more home grown, a little bit more NZ based.
Yeah, New Zealand focused.
I think we're obviously without it goes without saying we're a smaller market in the whole world. Obviously, America and Australia, even Australia, our neighbours, big sort of marketing from the big companies and everything. So anyway, went down that route and obviously discussed with you really early the opening of maybe potentially doing something, and a few serious conversations and a few Google searches down the track, we figured out that it is possible. It's a hard road, and then that was sort of the beginning, really.
Yeah, like you can. I remember in the early days, and to be brutally honest here, you were saying, I think I'm just going to import some product and put a label on it. Yep. And we actually looked at that. We thought, okay, what's the viability of that? Is that something that we want to do, for one, but also is there opportunity to do something a little bit different, like essentially white label way? And we thought, okay, that's one option. But I think we pretty quickly settled on the fact that actually that's not what you're about. That's also not longevity. It was kind of like a short-term thing.
Short-term solution to a problem that we identified. Not a problem, but something that we definitely put a circle around. And like you're right. I remember those early days we looked at the white label stuff.
Yeah.
And we were sort of like, yeah, okay, you can bring it in.
Yeah.
It's overseas.
Yeah.
Overseas stuff, nice and cheap. Obviously that has its benefits.
But then very generic, eh? That was the problem.
Very generic. It's been done even with that particular label multiple times. You can see that in the market.
Yes.
So obviously you've got almost cousins.
Yes.
In the market.
Yeah.
And then obviously after that, I think it's also the way we've always been doing things. Though, Paddy, we like to do it properly.
Yeah, and I think too, the idea of like doing that would be cool for your shop, but then you're like, well, it's going to stop there because it's not going to like really be appealing to any other shop. But then we said, hey, hang on. Mm-hmm. I think that was when the light bulb moment happened. If you're struggling with something like this, I guarantee you there's other shops. So then it was like, okay, well then there's a market for this potentially with through barbershops and obviously selling directly to people. But we wanted to at least initially establish that it was a market. Mm-hmm. And if there's a market, then we're like, okay, cool. And we did. And then from there, we were like, okay, well, we need to develop a product. We don't know the first thing about product. We know what we like. And I think the first thing we did actually, we ordered like a ton of product.
And mainly down what we identified what we wanted to do, the natural route.
Yes,
so we
overseas.
Yep, we got a lot of product in from overseas, a lot of high quality brands that we completely admire in terms of what they do, what they stand for, and what they produce. And then after that, we took extensive notes.
Yeah, then we like had a plan in our head. Okay, yeah, sweet. We want a product like this, and sort of reference that stuff. We went down the lab route, so we approached different labs in New Zealand and said, look, this is what we want. We didn't feel entirely secure in that because they didn't really have an awful lot of experience with producing hair products specifically. Like they were great at what they did, like makeups and lotions and moisturizers, all that kind of thing. But there wasn't sort of that like, oh wow, I feel really confident that they're going to be able to execute a water-based pomade, for example. You know, like it wasn't like. And we actually got a few tests initially done and they were just not where we wanted to go.
I think that's important though to notify that process took a long time.
Yeah,
and we didn't feel, I think there was a gut feeling in those initial sort of cosmetic labs that we worked with.
Yeah.
That, I don't know if they can come through with the goods and like you say, consistency issues and I think at the end of the day, as we know now after been in partnership with a great cosmetic lab that has our interests at heart. They understand what we're trying to do. They understand our whole ethos as a brand. I feel, now that we're on the other side of it, we definitely recognise that you have to have that gut feeling when it comes to partnering up with somebody because that's everything.
It's the relation. It's like longevity. It's like the most important business decision, I reckon, is who you're going to partner with the production. Like I know there's brands out there that do their own production or overseas production. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to find a local partner, a New Zealand partner. One, because we felt that it's a bit more reactive. We can go like back and forth a lot easier and get close to where we want to be. And secondly, just being able to say and align with what we wanted, which is to be made here. So yeah, I mean, it took some time. We found the right people. We worked with a formulator to sort of capture our vision. And then you thought, oh, cool, that's great. Like we've got the right producer. We've worked with the right person to formulate.
Which takes a lot of back and forth.
Which
took a long time. It took six to 9 months.
But then the funny thing is you think, oh, sweet, we're good. Well, then it was like another 2 years from there.
How do you scale? How do you manufacture? How's it done in huge quantities?
And testing. Like, oh, man, I don't know how many test spots we got. But it took 2 years. I always remember in my head, I thinking it was a 2 year from like thinking we're ready to go to actually being able to launch. It was crazy, but you know, even from things from like testing, like for example, like, you know, you love the product, cool, love this, let's make it. You got like another 6 months of testing. You got stability testing, you got all the testing to ensure that your product is going to stand up to all the regulations and also be able to say, hey, this product's going to stand the test of time. So like, you know, we went through that process and we got there in the end. We got a product that we really enjoyed. And I think maybe it's cool to talk about our four styling products. Like there was a conversation we had on earlier as we actually set on how many products we want to make. And one of the big things I don't like, I'm not even in the industry I'm not a barber or a hairdresser. What I hated is when I looked at other brands, I just got so confused by the range. Like for me, I love clean ranges that are easily understood. And when I looked at some of these brands with either their 2 offerings or their 16 offerings, I just was like miffed. I was like, we need to design a product range that, sure, it might not be for absolutely everyone. Like, there might be those fringe cases you can't design.
There's purists. It's like craft beer. It's like anything. There's people that want a pomade to be a pomade. Heavy oil-based.
Oil-based.
Yep, you're right.
And we said in the beginning, okay, we want to cater for 90% of the market and do it exceptionally well. So we settled on those 4 products because we felt we got the coverage, We kind of saw the overlap between some. So like for Grit and Zeal had that overlap. They're both matte products. One is a lot firmer than the other and, firmer hold.
High hold, yes.
And then, then we went with Natural and Shine products. We had that overlap as well with Bold and Aura. But we felt like, I think that's one of the key things is, and also I didn't want to be down the road having to release another 4, 5, 6 products to in the styling realm, I mean, to be able to say, okay, now we've got everything we think we need. We had to be clear in our design from the beginning of what we wanted, knowing that you can't keep everyone happy, but you want to make sure that when people look at your brand and look at your range, it makes sense. It's not like well, I don't understand this. Like, and I think it's worked because a lot of people don't come back to us saying, I don't understand the difference between this product and that product, would you say? Like it's very clear.
Totally. And hey, there's the odd exception that, there, like you just said, there's the purist in what the hair product industry has, just like anybody. There's connoisseurs that believe that these should be the type of products and this is how they should hold up. But you're exactly right. There's been an amazing positive reaction to all of them, and they all do specifically have their right in the range. And I believe it's easy using water-based natural product, and that's what we circled. That these are the key elements that we noted down in 2018.
Yeah, I remember we wanted natural as possible without compromising performance, and that was one of the things. I think we tried a few natural products that were cool, they were natural, they got that tick, but then when you started using them, you're like, performance doesn't really match what we've got. Then we wanted New Zealand made, so that's why we went down that route. Then I really wanted usability because I hated using some products that were either like trying to like dig concrete out of a jar and like break it down. It was just a horrible experience of applying and washing. So like we wanted a highly usable product, and that's why our products have kind of got that scoop that like it's got a bit of weight to it, but it's certainly not like difficult to use, like not a super waxy
it's
product.
An everyday product. It's an everyday user. It's one that when you're running out the door on whatever particular occasion, but then when it's also a special occasion, you want something. It's easy. It's easy product. That's the label you put on it. It's super easy.
Easy to use for sure.
Yeah,
easy. And repeatable results. Like you want to be able to use it day in, day out and just know what you're going to get, Yep. So then I guess we launched and we pushed it out to the market. That was a couple of years ago now, and the response was really, really good. And I definitely think our focus has always been on fostering those relationships with our partners, so with barbershops and salons, and that being the focus of our business and growing our influence and our relationships there. And that's really what we've been doing from the beginning, that was what we wanted to do.
Yeah, and it's been sporadic with, obviously, we've got other stuff going on in our careers and all, but we're working extremely hard to foster those relationships. And like you mentioned too, those are the key elements we started out with, and you've sometimes as well, you get along in the journey and you forget your origins.
Yep.
And the origin was the frustration I had with support, with reaching out, with even being a face. Of the brand. Who was I speaking to? Who was I actually interacting with when it came to these bigger brands, or just in general? Like you want a personal connection with who you're working with, and I hope with what we've done, people know Sam and Patty from Formidable, and whether it's me or you reaching out to them or whoever we're dealing with, we try to really add that personal touch.
Yeah, and I think totally, and I also think that working with the barbers to add value to them. That's the other big thing that we decided. Like it's cool to say, oh, we're all about our partners, and it's not like nice and fluffy and all that sort of stuff. But actually, we constantly think, what can we do to actually add value to our customers, and what do they want? So like often they'll say, oh, I want this product or that, but that's cool. And we'll put that in the background and we'll look at that and see a certain product's going to align with our brand. Have we got the capability? But not only that, but extra stuff, like support, being able to get on the phone and talk to someone, having you visit, like you've visited quite a few shops along the way.
Yep.
And, knowing your background too, bro, of being a barbershop owner, you get those pain points. So like, having you being able to have a conversation with another barbershop owner, you're instantly on the same level because you get it, and it's a lot easier for them to deal with you because they know you get it. You know what I mean?
The element of like a rep versus obviously we're at the stage where we are. It's just the two of us, the founders, and that's great. And
that might
change through time. But I think what we'll always keep close is that intimate relationship that we have with our stockists and our partners. I think you're right in saying that the pinch points that businesses have, the barbershops and the hair salons, and even just the language that we use, I feel going into those places or interacting with them, whether it be on phone call or if we're DMing or whatever, I feel like those pain points, I understand it. It's the lingo that we use. I get it. It might be the inability to train staff in sales, and that might be a hard point of sort of getting them excited around selling product and really buying in and understanding the range and knowing that it's a huge element to what they provide. I think
part of the service.
Part of the service. We're hair care specialists. I think we've got to understand what we're offering, what we're recommending to the customer, and I hope Formidable has a key part to play in that.
Totally. And I think we've identified that, and that's something we're going to be working on in the future too, of working to educate individual barbers as well as business owners, but individual barbers on the range, but then also giving them the skills, the sales skills and customer service skills to be able to confidently say to their customers who, they've built a lot of trust with, these people, they might have come to them for a decade or more, and it's like a very intimate relationship, right? Being able to confidently say, hey, like this product looks great in your hair. I think this is something that you need to, and so that's the kind of thing we're working towards that, because I think there's a gap there, And I think by and large, it might be wrong, but what I've witnessed is that barbershops tend to, or barbers, I should say, lack skills in that area. They're fantastic at chatting with people. They're fantastic at like all those types of things, and how's life and all that type of thing. But when it comes to actually having those conversations around sales, that's something that they're not that comfortable with.
But that's just in general, right? Sales is a tough conversation to have. Understanding when and what to say at the right time, but also it's trudging. Putting your neck out. You've got to really put yourself out there. You've got to ask the question. You've got to be a little bit direct in terms of your recommendation. You've got to really confidently put that forward. I think you're right in terms of that's probably an industry thing where people. I've struggled with it. I struggle training staff in terms of consistently putting that forward, and that's it. You want to build your staff up. You want to build the confidence. Cutting hair, but also providing and knowing and understanding the products they're selling. But I think that comes back to as well the idea of that. What you're saying in and around the training and what we're wanting to provide a little bit more. Obviously, we're working on hopefully freeing up a little bit more time this year between the pair of us. Hopefully, myself a little bit more. I've got some stuff happening to really ensure that I'm giving this a really good go. And I think what we want to do is we want to get into maybe a little bit more of a taboo subject of talking about sales and maybe being a little bit more upfront with our audience and stockists and partners.
Yeah, definitely with the partners.
I think so. With the partners, we want to really open up and try and help them as best we can, and maybe just really spearhead the topics that need to be discussed to help them perform at their best.
Well, the problem I see is that it's all well and good saying, oh, I'm not interested in selling products, or I don't really go hard on products, or products isn't really something I focus on my business. Well, then
we hear that a lot.
We hear that a lot.
That's understandable.
Yeah, and that's what you've built your business on, which is service. But the problem is that by saying that you are ignoring a huge opportunity to build an income stream, and it's not actually about extracting out income from your customers, right? For me, it's about offering a better service. Like it honestly is. Like if you can, that's
what we've said.
You know, if you can offer a better service where, you know, people leave, like personally now, from my personal experience, you leave a barbershop and you never feel better than that. That's like the peak. Man, I've got the crispest haircut, they put product in my hair, I feel great. And then you almost, in a way, in the coming days and weeks, feel disappointed when you're at home. It doesn't look or feel like I did the other day.
Where's the volume? Where's the texture? Like and sometimes that's education based on how you should be styling it. But sometimes it's an easy fix of just having the product.
Yeah,
to
totally.
do it.
And so like I think like as part of the duty of care we talk about that it should be part of your consideration. And I also don't believe personally that product isn't a big thing for my customers. Well, I mean, like, let's just look at your store in Monaghan's here in Wanganui. Mm-hmm. It's a provincial town. It's certainly not like a big city.
Big centre,
and so the idea, like, you know, if you're going to struggle to sell product, you're going to struggle here because, you know, it's like people don't have the extra income or they don't see the value in it. But I tell you what you've managed to do is you've managed to change the culture of when people come to the shop, they expect to at least have a conversation about the idea of product. And that's what you've done. You've shifted it from like, oh, that's not something I'm interested in, to now all of a sudden, oh, okay, so what product now? You know, you've moved the conversation along. And then, you know, for you, that means that you can run a more profitable business, right? Mm-hmm. You can free up some resource too. You know, I think of some of the stores that we work with that are real big on product, bro. They able to free up time, right? They don't have to go as hard as you know, everyone. I think it gives you opportunities in your business that I don't think you should shut the door prematurely, because I think there's a way to do it.
There is.
And you should change it depending on your customer base, but I don't think you should shut the door on it.
I think I've got a foot in each camp somewhat, with obviously having the barbershop separate to Formidable, and I intentionally did that. We wanted the brand to stand on its own. Yeah. When launching Formidable, me and you, and we wanted it to not be associated directly with a shop. Obviously, I've got a foot in each camp. I understand, but I think you're completely right in saying that it is a culture shift. I've worked in other barbershops. I've understood the tension around retail, the lack of maybe training, the lack of understanding, and the cliche sort of discussions around, hey, we don't do a lot of it, and we don't intend to change that. But I think it is very much service based. It is a matter of offering that expertise to the customer. Yeah. But you know, in the barbershop, putting on the barbershop hat, the key thing is similar to, I think, any service, any sales, where there's definitely hard work initially. Yeah. But then if you believe in the brand and product enough, and you know that it is high performing, it does the things that you say it will.
It adds to your brand, eh?
Yes, but also they come back. Yeah, it does the heavy lifting. Yeah. So we've done these initial sales with a lot of our customers. A lot of them are in the loop of using Formidable and other products. We've obviously launched a shampoo and conditioner now, which is selling well. And
we can talk about that soon. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's added the cleaning element. We've obviously got the styling, and we intend to add to the pre-style and all these other different areas. But in the meantime, I've got those space fillers in the shop. And what we've done is we've done the heavy lifting, and we've worked hard to get the people to believe and trust in it, and they've seen the results, and then it's just the loop now.
Yeah, it's natural.
Every 2 or 3 haircuts, 3 or 4 haircuts, I don't know, if they do it on a monthly to 6 week basis, they come back, another zeal please, another shampoo and conditioner please.
How did you approach it with like personally even your customers, you know, customers that you've worked with for like a decade now, like when in those initial days, it might be useful for people who are listening that want to do this, like they're like, yeah, actually, I can see the value in it. What's some of the things that you do, or how do you direct that conversation with people that, you know, you have their trust?
Yes. We have their trust in
Like,
terms
you
of
know,
like,
a customer that like, you know, once you launch Formidable, how did you have those conversations with some of those customers and saying,
yes.
hey, like, what are some of the basic stuff that people can have and say to them?
Totally. I think it. I mean, you're cutting their hair. You're in close with them. You've cut, and if you've built that relationship, you've already got a strong base. I believe there's a lot of trust that is put into the barber's hands, not only sort of cutting hair, but also it's put into their hands of really taking care of the guy that's in their chair for a lot of different reasons, and one of them is grooming. So once we launched Formidable, yes, there was a portion of the customer base that knew I started it, but there was a huge portion that didn't.
Yeah.
And we went about it like we did any other product, like in the early days with the bigger label as well. We pushed. Well, we didn't push. We that's not the right terminology. We spoke the language in a form that the customer can then understand around styling, around what they're actually putting in their hair, the importance of scalp health, the importance of all these different things. And we're doing it really, really relaxed.
And you believe it, eh?
In the service, though. You're cutting hair and you're talking about it, the element where you might be cutting the top and you've done the sides and you're looking at adding some volume. You're putting in some sea salt or some grooming spray to add a bit of volume. And we're looking at maybe adding some product. We're talking about it there, and we're talking about, we're talking about what sort of finish they want, etc. And if they are really keen, or even if you get a cold shoulder and you get someone that isn't keen on product, you really try to push and make them, well, not push. You try and say, hey, it's a treat. You're in the barber chair. Let's put something in there.
Totally.
If you were to get something in there, do you like more of a textured dry finish, a little bit more of a wetter look? We can just chuck something in there, so make it nonchalant. And sometimes, half the time, those are the ones that just go, yep, chuck it in at the counter. Yep, we'll have a pot of that stuff.
It's I definitely think extracting like some key information, right? Like what finish do you like? What do you like it slick, or do you like it a bit like kind of textured and styled? That key stuff first, right?
Absolutely.
Because then they don't get a surprise or like feel, this isn't,
But in the job of being a barber, obviously too, you've understood the style that they're after in the consultation. You've understood, you're looking at their style. You're taking in all these sort of information notes on the customer. But exactly that. Yep, you're definitely putting in the groundwork throughout the service of really subtle hints and questions. It's as simple as that. You're not trying to hide anything from anyone.
No.
You're just saying, hey, how would you style? Oh, I like it real croppy and I like it textured, and great. So you obviously like something that's more matte finish. Obviously, depending on your hair type too. I'm a barber. If it's fine, maybe we put in a zeal, maybe to add a little bit more hold, because it is fine. It might drop during the day.
You don't want the drop.
All these different things, and you extract that out of them, and they're happy to partake, and you just make it a fun experience. Styling should be fun too.
Totally.
It should be really fun. And unfortunately, if you become too clinical and too white coat on it, and it's just these are the steps. Make it fun. Make it, mate, you look great. These are the features of the product.
Yes.
You look $1 million.
Yeah, I think there's a few things for me. The barber has to really understand the product, like understand the differences and stuff like that, so then they can confidently put it in.
Yep.
Secondly, they have to believe in the product, because you can't sell something you don't believe in. I truly believe it. So it might not be Formidable. It might be another range of products, and that doesn't matter. As long as you believe in it, I think then it becomes part of you, an extension of you, rather than something separate, eh? And then and finally, getting it in the hair, because there's nothing like experiencing it. And it's something that, like, I think once we eventually do some more trade shows and markets and that kind of thing, nothing can replace the getting it in someone's hair, because then you get the feeling and the look. Oh, you look in a mirror. Okay,
the smell.
I get it now.
The smell,
the experience.
They understand. They get it, and they get to see us working with it out of our nice jars, our packaging. Totally. They get to experience it. And you're right in saying all those things. And I think, like, at the end of the day, you have these guys in your chair for a certain amount of time, and that is one of the elements to finishing the service. And your job is just to understand the product, allocate the one that you think you believe in the most. Like you said, even if it's whatever range. I feel like any doubt in what we're trying to put in their hair or make them look like or feel like,
that,
they feel that. They can sense it. It's a very close quarters type type job. So
Yep.
they can feel that if there's confidence, there's fun, and there's an understanding of what you're doing.
And a result at the end of the day, like, whoa, okay, that's cool.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? A bit of a wow.
Yeah.
Have you had that? Like
Yeah.
in terms of, some people can be stiff right up until the point you actually put it into their hair and they're, oh, I get it now.
And
kind of thing.
emulsifying it. Oh,
Yeah.
that smells great. Oh, can I have a look at that jar?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
all
they're
those
still in the
things draw
chair.
them
They're
in.
still in the chair, and
Totally.
they're still interacting with it. And you might just give a little bit of a background. A background of some more of the intricacies. Oh, it's New Zealand made,
What might be important to them, right?
predominantly natural product.
Yeah, totally.
That's a really, really great. A great styling addition to your whole sort of look,
Totally.
And sometimes, you're right. The ones that are a little bit harder, that might have a bit of a harder shell, they're the ones that really dive in and want to know the information about it. It's great.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and it's always like there's always some part of the product that draws people in it, and it's different for everyone. So you can't be rigid. You can't probably have a script. Like
No.
It needs to be kind
There's
of
adaptability.
organic.
There's play. There's play with it. You have to play with it.
So then, after the launch of those styling products, we went into, and we've been toying with the idea for a while, where to next? And we landed on the shampoo and conditioner because we felt, for one, it's a great addition in a barbershop. You know what I mean? Like it's a cool addition to have. Some have basins, some don't, whatever. But having that cleansing and nourishing option in the form kind of rounds it off in a nice way. Obviously, with there's more space, then we can talk about our future plans. But so with the shampoo and conditioner, do you want to talk a little bit about our approach with that? Because they are, well, we tried to make them formidabilized. They're not just a shampoo and conditioner.
For sure.
They need a feel of our brand.
I think obviously key thing is the look. We worked extremely hard to keep it all really tied in, and we wanted to make it look really masculine and clean, and we achieved that, we think. But most importantly, the performance. Absolutely, I think. Like anything, scalp health is it's an interesting subject. The common one is dandruff. Everyone talks about dandruff in the shop, and you see it a lot as well. You see a lot of dryness of the scalp. So we want to educate our customers that come into barbershops, but also our wider family of Formidable partners and anyone that uses our product, that the importance of the actual process of two shampoos and a leave-in conditioner, sort of a conditioner to leave in for a few minutes before rinsing, and educating people on that. It's like the whole cliche sort of your father teaching you how to shave. Well, with scalp health and actually understanding that your head's really important.
Totally.
We don't really get that, so we want to sort of make some room in that space for educating people. But most importantly, obviously, we wanted to be quite bold. Not to quote one of our products, but we wanted to be out there a little bit with the shampoo. Obviously, it is black, which it gives people a bit of a shock. We
made that decision early on that, like, okay, there's obviously the ingredients. We can talk about the ingredients, but also, like with our other products, you want a visual impact, and so like we knew the conditioner was going to be white. Conditioners are white,
sure,
unless you want to do something weird with them. But the discussion came up early that, hey, what can we do with the shampoo? And we decided the black was cool, not only because it's on brand, because Formidable is like kind of that black look.
We've got the black packaging. Yep.
But how we got it black is using an activated charcoal, which again comes back to what you were saying is about like is a great cleanser for the scalp and for the hair. So like I just took both boxes, and it was like it's a meaningful ingredient, and also makes it kind of for an interesting experience.
I think absolutely, and I think activated charcoal in skincare. It's funny, it's okay for everywhere. The face, but what about the scalp?
Well, the scalp is an extension of the face,
absolutely,
right?
But it's forgot about, and I think an ingredient like that, we did a lot of digging and a lot of time, sort of wanting to have that difference maker in the product, and once we found it and tested it and rigorously sort of went through and made sure that it was the right thing, and it wasn't too harsh maybe on the scalp. The scalp has different oils to the face.
Yes.
Hair has different oils to the face, so we did a lot of testing there to make sure that it was the right one, but we came up with great results with all different hair types, all different conditions.
Again, you can't please everyone, right? I don't think you can make a product that...
Yep, it's not an all for one. It's not an all for one. We're never... I think we're straight up, we're honest with what we provide.
And that's a good conversation for the future, because it's like, okay, well, if we don't quite capture you within the products we have, what can we offer? And that we're always open to that, eh? And I think with the shampoo, what we wanted is it's not just a shampoo, it's designed to work with styling products. So it had to be effective at stripping back styling products because, no one likes the feeling at the end of the day that, got all this stuff in my hair. Even water-based products can have that sort of sense of build-up, right? So we needed it to be effective at removing that. We used some like surfactants and stuff in there that actually, again, it's a natural product, but it's actually really good at cleaning the hair. So that was a big one. Secondly, it needed to be suitable for daily use. Not saying you use it every day, but if people are styling their hair every day,
yes,
it couldn't be a product that's super harsh and over like a month, your hair's just wrecked. So it needed to be gentle enough to be like that.
That's the duty of care that we have, obviously, with providing the product. We don't know how people are going to use it. So, yes.
And it had to tie in with what we had, right? And then obviously we had some, when we came to the conversation of extracts or goodies in there to kind of like enhance the effects of the product, we decided on some native extracts.
Yes.
Not only because, again, they're New Zealand products and we're supporting other New Zealand businesses and that type of thing. Also, they were unique. Not a lot of people were using them in their products, but we are also using them in an efficacy level. And what I mean by that is a percentage of the product that it has an effect. And what I learned early on, bro, is that not every product does that. So like, you'll see like a shampoo and it'll say, it's got chamomile extract in it. Well, they might be using 0.01 chamomile extract and that allows them to put it on the ingredient list. And it sounds beautiful. And
it's branded.
It's wonderful. Oh, wow, that's our key ingredient. Well, it's not. It's 0.1%. It's not doing anything. So we have our extracts in there at a appropriate efficacy level. And that was a big thing from the beginning. I don't want to greenwash it. I don't want to have, I don't even want a native, kind of like with native extracts, it's kind of like, oh, wow. And I'm sure there are people out there that use it in that way, but we wanted to be upfront that these are actually in there to enhance the experience.
Everything we've put in there, totally.
And same with the shampoo and conditioner. We wanted something light enough. We didn't want a heavy conditioner. We wanted one that could be used once, twice a week to gently moisturize the hair and capture that 80 to 90% of the market. And so that was sort of our design with those. And it's new to the market and it's still growing, but I think they're a nice addition to our styling products. And,
huge.
And that probably leads, before we get too far on, to what we want to do in the future. What's sort of the vision that you have in terms of not only products, but maybe the overall direction we're going maybe?
There's different avenues we want to really go down for sure and really put a bit of time and effort and detail into. So most definitely into our sales and into our working with the partners. We're going to work hard and put a little bit more effort and put some really good systems in place to maybe be a little bit more consistent with that on my side of things, which is exciting. And obviously we want to go down some different avenues regarding content and like we've said, regarding education of what's in our products, what we're doing, what we're up to, a little bit behind the scenes. And I know some people have enjoyed listening to this as well, which has been great. And so we're working hard down those avenues. Obviously, when it comes to products, it's exciting. There's a lot to unpack there.
It's hard, knowing where to go. You hear so many different things, and you can be influenced in a positive or negative way from what people say. So you need to filter it back through your brand and what you want to achieve.
Yes.
And for me, bro, and I think we're on the same boat with this, is that we want to create a system, a system of self-care for men. And so, like, obviously we're starting with hair care, and that's where we want to continue to build out. But we want a system that makes sense, that's not confusing, that's straightforward, easy to execute, but also personalized to what I need, to what you need. And those are different things. So it's trying to build, like, for example, our matchmaker, right, was an attempt on our website that I'm talking about, which is basically a quiz which you ask for about 4 questions and it'll match you with the right product. We want to continue down that avenue where, like, eventually you get your products in a way that perfectly work together, step 1, step 2, step 3, and are also personalized.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, okay, so for my hair type and my desired style, that's always what I say. And so like, that's what we filter all our thinking through, right?
Yeah, and to
It's
put
like,
to put that into like product perspective, like a great pre-styler.
Yes.
But what type? What type do we want? Do we want build? Do we want volume and texture? Do we want something a little bit easier and lighter and a little bit more flowy, like a grooming tonic or something like that? Then
how many products?
Then styling.
Do we want 4? Do we want? There's so many decisions.
Then styling. Then cleaning.
Yes.
Then cleansing.
And moisturising.
And cleaning and moisturising. So it's exciting. And I think you're right. We've got a lot of options. We don't want to be influenced too much by just space filling and obviously what everyone else is doing. But
or like it's been a year, we haven't released something. Let's just release something. Like no, that's not how we work.
They're working on with this. We worked hard to really make sure, and that activated charcoal was a funny one with us. We were like, are we sure we want to go down that route? And we studied it and we took some time, and I'm happy that we did.
Yeah,
and we'll
totally
do that with the next, and we'll continue to do that like we did with our initial 4. I think obviously this year we'll definitely look at opening up the lid on pre-stylers.
Yes. So, sort of, and the way I think about pre-styling is maybe a little bit different to sort of how traditionally it's been thought of. I see it as preparing the hair for styling, eh?
Yep.
And I mean, that's what helps some people may see it. But I guess what I'm saying is the general public don't see that. Mm-hmm. The general public see a sea salt spray as an all-in-one. Sure. Some people see it as like, that's all I need is a sea salt spray, without really understanding what that's doing. That's building the building blocks of a great style.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
So understanding that, okay, so pre-styler, maybe we change the language a little bit with that. Maybe we talk a bit more directly to what it is doing, because pre-styling doesn't really tell you. It just tells you it's before something. It comes before.
Sometimes it's not even using that language. I don't like you say. I think sea salt is looked at as its own individual product, which respectfully it can be. There's a lot of hair types and a lot of customers that prefer a very light, non-styling product, and that's fine. Sure. That suits them, and it's not. It is what it is. But I think you're right. I think a lot of the time the language isn't indicative of what the process should be. Like sea salt and that is not, it's not even put anywhere sometimes too in terms of it being a pre-styler.
Totally. Yeah. What it's meant for or how it can be used, you know, and that's the big things we're big on is it needs to be ultra clear. It's not going to be vague. No. You can be sure that if Formidable drop a product, it's going to have a purpose. It's going to have a meaning. It's going to be clear. Yep. And that's sort of what we're looking at. But you're right. I think this year, definitely looking at that preparation of the hair products.
We intend to as well with that though as well, Paddy. We've got some really key partners that we want to get feedback from with these samples. I think we played around with that that huge family that we've built, and we've got a lot of trust in them, and they've got trust in us, and I think it's a two-way street in terms of that relationship. We did that with the shampoo and conditioner. We tend to do that with the pre-stylers as well. Get their feedback.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, here's some samples.
Yeah. What did you like? What did you
like? What do you think with something that's existing in the market? You also have an understanding of our range. Does it pair nicely with it? Do they complement? All these things. Yeah.
And I'm not interested in just seeing someone else bring out a product and being kind of like, okay, well, we need to copy that or do that same thing. But it always has to be.
We're not like that.
Nah, it needs to have a reason, a purpose, and it needs to be uniquely Formidable way. That's the kind of thing that we're trying to do. So, yeah, I think down that route, you know, there's also building out that system of hair care, right? So that it's kind of complete, and that we can say maybe in a year's time or however long that we feel that we now have the tools in our toolkit and our product range to be able to cater for all the kind of needs, you know, whether that's styling, whether that's cleansing and so forth.
And it's a slow burn.
Yeah, it takes time.
It takes time. It's what we've marked over, like you say, the 2-year mark, and you've got to pinch yourself sometimes too and see how many great stores and barbers that entrust. How
many customers have our product? You know, like it's a really cool feeling.
Humbling. It's great.
Yeah, it is humbling.
And I think we owe them and we owe ourselves, because of the strong foundation we put in. We owe ourselves the time and we owe our customers the time to really spend a lot of time with our cosmetic lab and do our research properly and continue to bring meaningful products out like you said.
Totally. Yep. Change the game. Try to at least, you know, like make something new, something interesting. but also with intent, not different for different's
And we're
sake.
just having fun doing it. Like
Yeah,
we
man.
want to connect with people, and we just want to have fun and
Build relationships.
I love it. Even I reckon as well with owning a barbershop. Just to go back to the situation that I was in, even when launching and everything, like it's great. You've got the family of barbers that support you online, but then I haven't experienced that. What I've experienced with Formidable has been completely different, which is just amazing. Is the true love and like support and just the energy from the industry from a product based side. Like it's not just representing your barbershop and having pride and doing that in your particular area in New Zealand. And it's a pretty small country and it's a small industry that people know who you are and what you're doing. And I've got so much like admiration for all the you can pick a city and you know the top guys in there that are doing awesome stuff, or the young lads coming up, and it's awesome. But like to do it through a product has just been so much fun, and like I think it's only just going to get better and better. The more time and effort we put into it, it's just so
it's scale, eh? Like it's exciting to make a difference on a scale that we're not used to. Barbershop's really cool because it's like a one-on-one thing. That's right.
That's what I'm trying to say. You're right.
Yeah. It's like all of a sudden you can open it up to a whole bunch more people. And I'm like, sometimes I'm amazed. I'll like visit friends and I'll see like a pot of Formidable on their bathroom sink, and go wash my hands or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, like the reach actually is kind of cool. And you can have that impact. And hopefully coming back to our partners and the people we work with, both of us are on board with the fact that if we do well, they do well. And if they do well, we do well. So that's really why we call them partners, because there's no other way for it to work. We want to be able to make your business do better, more profitable, have better, more satisfied customers. And in turn, that's good for us. So it's a beautiful thing, a beautiful circular thing if we can do it right. Yeah. And that's what we intend to do. So yeah, I mean, it's still early days for us. We're only a few years down the track, but
we're trying to figure it out all still. But we've got that core. We've got our core values, and that's the key one right there. It's the key one right there. Is making sure everyone that is aligned with what we do is doing well, and that's where we get our kick.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. That's
pretty much it, I think.
That's where we're heading. We've covered it all. Where we are.
Yep, where we've been and where we're going.
Man.
But hopefully to all our listeners this has been helpful, and we're keen to do this in the future again.
Do a couple more,
give you an update and that kind of thing. So if you have any questions or anything that you'd like us to discuss around the product business, because I know even barbers find it interesting. Like it's amazing once you start these conversations with barbers, and they want to know more. They want to understand it better. And so we hope this has been helpful, and we appreciate you tuning in, and appreciate you supporting both the channel and our brand.
Yes, and we'll do our best to reach out, obviously, to everyone, and we will continue to try and grow, and don't be a stranger and reach out to us as well. We're keen to connect, and it's been awesome. It's been cool talking.
Absolutely.
Yep.